for greatness and to do great things. If one person can't see the awesome beauty within you, don't get sad. Be happy. God is about to bring that special person into your life that will not only see you, but complete you. Never give another person the power to lessen what God has created within you. I learned long ago that sometimes elevation requires separation. Separate yourself from your sadness by removing the sadness within you. David learned this lesson and decided to make himself happy. Your first step from sadness to happiness is learning to love yourself and what God has created in you more than the words of love lost from someone else. So if you are feeling like you lost someone special, remember that special someone is still with you, and that's you. This is Reverend Rick McCain with Something You Should Know.
Now boarding the McCain train with Reverend Rick and author Brenda McCain. They're bringing hot and powerful topics regarding relevant issues on marriage, relationships, and life-changing family topics. And they are funny, engaging, energetic, and they bring real talk that reaches beyond the walls of the church. They have been successful because they have discussed topics like, help me, I want to grow old. My addiction is hurting my relationship. Aborted but not forgotten. Living in an HIV/AIDS relationship. The hand that loves me is hurting me. So if you want to know their glory, you have to know their backstory. So get on board the McCain train and listen to the Let's Stay Together Internet Talk Show.
Director of Malcolm Williams and Great Faith, and you're listening to the Let's Stay Together Show.
Hello, this is Reverend Rick McCain, and I'm with my wife, author Brenda McCain, my baby, my girl, my boo, and this is the Let's Stay Together Show, and we are here and honored to be here with Terry Vaughn. And Terry, we are just so happy to have you here on the Let's Stay Together Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Well, great. Tell us a little bit about your role in this movie, 72 Hours.
You're Ricky Dillon, and you're listening to the Let's Stay Together radio show.
Hello, this is Reverend Rick McCain, and I'm here with my baby, my girl, my boo, author Brenda McCain from the Let's Stay Together show, and I love my wife. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, this is an actor that I love. Mr. Harry Lennox, it is so nice to see you, sir. Thank you for being on the Let's Stay Together show.
Well, thank you, Rick. This is great, and I am honored to be with you and your beautiful wife.
Well, my question for this beautiful lady is she's very modest, and if I can give a shout out to you, because I got approval for this business my girl. I'm taking it back to Levita from Steve Harvey, but I love all of her work and everything that she does. And she's a 3-time Emmy Award winner, so that's why I said she's modest, and I know you're going to bring to this movie the goodness that you brought to Debbie's little girl, because you was so good as a level-headed girlfriend that kept everything going.
She was mean.
She was level-headed. She was, but I love you.
Very
so
judgmental.
You don't do mean roles. I love you.
If you would like to advertise on the Let's Stay Together Talk Show or be a sponsor, contact us at letsstaytogethertalkshow.com and call 708-713-4958. Welcome back to the Let's Stay Together Talk Show. Your next stop, the McCain train.
Now here is the Let's Stay Together show with Reverend Ricardo McCain and author Brenda McCain, helping you to rebuild your relationships with God.
Hey, we're back on the Let's Stay Together show. We're talking about mental health. And if you know someone or it's yourself, don't be ashamed. Give us a telephone call, 312-754-4333. If you want to help somebody, we have a gentleman here that is very knowledgeable, very knowledgeable about mental health, and we want to help somebody. So if you're just listening and you don't want to call in, that's okay. You can Facebook us as well. You can Facebook us on our Facebook page, Let's Stay Together. I was going to say .com, but the Let's Stay Together Facebook page. But we'd like for you to give us a call at 312-754-4333. Let's break the stigma of being ashamed of mental health, and let's discuss it. Baby, go ahead.
Tracy, you
got another one?
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, before Brenda goes on, I had one more question, and it's about the habitual behavior of mental illness. I mean, how can you tell, and I think you kind of answered this before, if it's a Facebook question, if it's habitual behavior or mental illness, or is it just really a bad habit? And a bad habit can produce the same things, can't it? So how do you know if they are just behaving badly or actually ill?
Well, my title is a behavior health specialist. So whether it is, behavioral and mental, they go hand in hand. So, the actual psychological component and the mental and the emotional, it all really it manifests into this big ball, and what happens is it gets produced into behavior. Yeah. So even if it's just bad behavior, and again, I don't like to use words like good or bad, but with the behavior that is presenting the concern, then that usually is a symptom that the concern is probably, even with the mental health state. If that answers that, I think they go hand in hand. I don't think you can separate them or draw a line in between them, and it's one or the other. I think that if one is happening, it's the other as well.
And the thing about it is that I think he was saying that you have to come and get that diagnosis, but I think a lot of times people will see a person just acting bad, a child is acting bad, and they'll automatically think there's a disorder, but that child is just acting out for attention. And sometimes people will say, well, he has a disorder, and you don't know that. And as Joseph said before, you don't know that it's that it's an issue or it's it's a real disorder until you actually go in and see somebody. And so that's the thing. I mean, there are times that someone's going to just say, there's nothing wrong with the child. There's no disorder with them. They're just maybe acting. But you would hope that's the case. That you'll go in there and they're just not medicating them, just to get them. But you really don't know that until you actually bring the child in. So don't be afraid to bring the child in. The worst case scenario is that you find out that there is a disorder and get treatment. I should say even the worst is that you do nothing. But if you find out that the child has some kind of disorder, bring him in. And if you go to the LAYNIE Foundation, you'll get an honest person that's going to let you know, hey, there's nothing wrong with that child. You're going to get someone that's going to care about the child and the symptoms of the child, and not necessarily because they're just trying to get some money or just over-medicate the individual.
Absolutely. And that you said the medication component. I know that is something that comes along with that stigma, and that is something that a lot of people are afraid to really go anywhere near. And being that I am a counselor, a therapist, I actually pride myself as being a clinician. But being a clinician, medication is actually my last alternative. Mm-hmm. I am not a fan of medication. Yeah. And I will try every form of intervention, every form of behavior intervention, focus on thinking and thought processes and emotional states. But and usually that is where the work that is going to stick. That's usually where it needs to be done. But I have seen cases, even with the therapy, there definitely was a need for medication. Mm-hmm. But that is something just from my own beliefs and my own perception on when I'm working with especially children. Medication is really a last alternative for me.
Is it a myth that once they start the medication, they have to stay on it for life?
That is not a fact. That is not a fact. You can the children can come off of the medication. But again, if we are continuing to try different interventions and we're trying to continue the work that I do, it's not a once a week therapy session. I work with these children sometimes 3 to 4 times a week. So these are when it's intensive, the word intensive is highlighted. These are very high-risk situations. These aren't children that aren't coming in because they are sad. These are very high-risk, in some cases, life or death, very, very high potential for harm to themselves or others. Yeah. And when I say that, that's suicidal, homicidal ideations, suicidal attempts, hospitalizations. The symptoms or the cases that come in are very, very heavy. Yeah. And it requires intensive services. And
I just want to add, because you said something that, I was looking here. They were saying that the suicide rate for, mental health disorder is higher in any given year than homicides in the United States from mental health disorders. And so I think a lot of people don't realize that the risks that happens, and we try to, hide from it, but you should go in there. And I did like the fact that you said that medication for you as the last resort. And that's something that's great to hear because, so many times people are afraid that the first thing that the person's going to say is just put them on medication, put them on Ritalin, put them on this, put them on that. And they just saw the child. And you're basically saying, which I really love, is that I'm going to take the time to see the child. You said that you were a clinician, and that he's going to really take the time to, your behavior is, would you say the behavior? I should remember this stuff, shouldn't I? Go ahead.
Behavior.
OCD myself. I'm never trying to say shut up, Brenda. Go ahead.
Behavior health specialist.
Behavior health specialist. I'll write it down the next time. And that you're really concerned about the individual. So that means you're going to do everything you can before you put them on medication. And I think a lot of times, because I've seen some kids that the first thing that they say, they need to be on Ritalin. But you need to find out, is that true or not? Don't make self-diagnosis or go somewhere where the person doesn't have the experience to take care of it, especially children. Because once you put them on medication like that and they don't need it, it could mess them up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I want to know, what exactly is OCD?
She worried.
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
It's like when I check that garage door.
No, that's not it.
No, that doesn't match any form of criteria. I think that was just your husband having fun with you.
How about a person?
I really do check it.
Yeah, how about a person who, and my daughter's going to kill me if she's listening, when she's playing on the radio, the number has to be on an even number or it just like really drives her crazy.
So on an even number.
Okay, you know how the radio says 1, 2, 3, the volume?
Okay.
If it's not like on 2, 4, 6, or 8, it drives her crazy.
Well,
but now she's got me doing it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, my first question would be, what is the reasoning for putting it there?
She just said it bothers her, and I do it now because she's made me aware of it, and it bothers me.
Well, I don't think that is really anything as far as any form of disorder, but it does make for an interesting conversation.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? You be wondering, what is wrong with that?
I'm gonna ask her when I get home.
But there are some people. There are some people that don't like even numbers or odd numbers. I mean, it's a what they call a compulsion or something like that, where
obsessive?
But it's not, it's not.
That's the root word.
But it's like, it's not like it's. And I would be concerned if it was somebody else's radio that was on an odd number and she had to turn that too. It's like now it's being a little bit more, excessive. When it's yours and you want to put it there, it's fine. But if you in my car. I want the volume at 4, not 3. I'm like, okay, what difference does it make? That kind of concerns me. Should I be concerned about that, Joseph?
No, I don't think that raises any form of concern.
Okay.
Maybe it just sounds that much clearer.
She can get back in my car now.
Oh, okay.
But I do have a concern with something, though, and it's with me, and I'm being honest with. I'm a systematic person. Everything have to be in this place for me to function right. When something get out of order, it throws me off. Then I have to put myself back into place. Like today, I sort of did something different than my normal routine before I got here, and I'm like, okay, let me step back because I'm just used to everything flowing. So is that a condition, or is that just you just?
Can I answer this, Joseph?
No,
I would basically say, wait a minute. I'm going to say, I'm saying since you asking all these questions, we need to set up an appointment with the LAYNIE Foundation for you. I didn't know this was going to be a show of ask questions for Brenda, but go ahead. Go ahead and answer that question for us. So she obviously has some issues that I need to know about.
Well, no, I don't. Well, it doesn't seem that you are that much obsessed with it, though. Well, that may be something that we may need to have a session about. Yeah. I'm just kidding, Miss McCain. I'm only kidding.
So, no. Joseph, do me this favor.
I want you systematic.
I want you to talk a little bit about the LAYNIE Foundation and what it does.
Okay. So the LAYNIE Foundation, like I said, we're located in Matteson, Illinois, and we have two sides of the agency, the company. Actually, there's two components. There is the therapeutic service side, and then there is the actual foundation side. So let me start with the therapy services. The therapy services are broken down into intensive outpatient services, which is the ongoing therapy, and crisis stabilization services. So in the event of a crisis, if there is any type of harmful behavior, anytime there is someone, their life is in danger, aggressive behavior, if there's any form of a crisis, we are on call with the hotline immediately to intervene on those crises. The unique part about the LAYNIE Foundation, once we stabilize these crises, we then continue